normal trot now.
A horse and buggy competition turns deadly.
Walk, please. Walk your horses. Time out.
When the horses go berserk. It's a chain reaction of alarmed Arabians. They smash into each other and bash into people.
Horses flying, carriages flying, riders screaming, trainers jumping up trying to stop the horses with their arms. It was just complete chaos.
Let's keep the horse on the outside if we can. Keep him on the outside if you can.
You might say Paul Hymen was a late bloomer, a Holocaust survivor with a zest for life. He took up competitive buggy riding at 63 and went on to win championships in the U.S. and Canada.
The most wonderful person in the world. Great horseman, great husband, great father.
Paul's wife, Joyce, says he was all smiles competing at this regional horse show in Illinois. But there's another noteworthy competitor here, Terry Conroy, a driver who inspires everyone because she can't walk without crutches or a walker.
She had some limitations physically. I know that she was in a serious car wreck, but she loved to drive. She loved horses.
We're driving normal trot, please. Normal trot.
As a panel of judges take the teams through their paces, horse trainer Chuck Seaman spots a problem.
I noticed on the far rail, each horse that went by there seemed to be irritated by something. Their tails were flipping and slashing and maybe wiggling their butts a little bit.
And right here, Paul's horse starts to act up.
Walk.
Chuck and others believe there were bees in that part of the arena, bothering the horses as they trotted by. And a single bee may have set off the entire rampage by stinging Paul's horse in the belly.
And all of a sudden he bucked and his back legs went up. And I knew that that was a no-no, that was very dangerous.
Paul just grabbed on as hard as he could to stop the horse. The horse was in a panic at that point.
Terry barely makes it out of his way, but as he turns the corner,
his cartwheel went over another cart's wheel, which pitched Paul out of the cart.
He lands actually head first into the wall. I jumped up and I screamed, I don't remember it.
The horse drags the riderless cart behind him. Trainers and officials try to grab Paul's horse, but there's no stopping an Arabian at full gallop.
Horses to the inside. Bring the horses to the inside, please.
The buggy flips, and he gets tangled at just about the same spot in the arena where he dumped Paul. And the tangled lines frighten him even more. He breaks free of the cart, just misses the judges' area, and barrels into another horse. Terry is still stuck in her buggy just a few feet away, but he's not finished. He gets up off the ground and he mows down the ringmaster.
I thought Bob was dead. I really thought that was the end of Bob.
Coming up, can anyone stop the runaway horse? Plus,
Animal Planet.
at a horse and buggy competition, an Arabian horse is out of control.
Walk, please. Walk your horses. Time out.
First, he throws his driver, Paul Hyman, right into a wall. Next, he mows down the event's ringmaster. Incredibly, the ringmaster is okay, but Paul's wife, Joyce, is in a panic.
What I remember, first of all, was absolute terror, disbelief, and shock.
And in all this chaos, where is Paul? The horse gallops on a rampage, nearly taking out Terry Conroy, who has a disability.
She was definitely like a sitting duck.
Horse trainer Matt Seaman tries to catch the runaway steed, but he's worried about Terry.
There was no way she could get out of the cart by herself.
The horse, named his very best, makes 6 frantic laps around the ring. And on the 7th, Terry's luck runs out.
Run it down.
When I saw Hisbury hitting Terry's horse. My thought was, oh my, please keep her safe.
Terry is trapped in the cart, and her horse has been knocked to the ground.
And while I was laying down, I pulled her out of the cart.
One of the judges snags his very best, bringing his run to an end. But Terry's horse breaks free.
And then her horse got up and started running around the ring also.
We need the medic, please.
Now it's Terry's horse that's panicked. And right here, you can see Matt dragging Terry to safety.
And kind of drug her to the middle of the ring.
Matt sits her down in a chair near the judges. But nobody's safe as long as her horse is out of control.
Keep the horse on the rail if you can. Keep him on the outside if you can.
His name is Roustabout, and he's still dragging that cart. He makes a hairpin turn and nearly wipes out the judging pen. It's as if the frightened Arabian is desperately searching for his owner. Then it happens. He barrels right into Terry's chair and knocks down a man standing next to her. Incredibly, her horse misses her.
It was so quick that he slammed into us that there was no time really to think, and there was nothing I could do. I was, I guess, in shock.
Take the horses out. Take them out.
Even that doesn't slow the terrified animal. He circles the arena, smashing carts and nearly hitting other horses, until somebody throws a lasso. He breaks free of the cart, but trips on his harness.
I didn't know if he was dead or alive, if he had broken bones, if he had hurt himself internally. They put me right into the ambulance, and I just wanted to get to him. And, of course, they wouldn't let me. I got one glimpse of him really breathing really, really hard. I had never seen a horse breathing that hard.
Incredibly, after all that, the horses are okay. Terry has bruises, bumps, and a hairline fracture of the hip. And two other people make a trip to the hospital, including Paul, the seasoned citizen whose horse started it all, and who got slammed into the wall.
But I was lucky. I only had a broken thumb and a big swelling on my head.
Right after he got thrown, Paul got up and headed for the center of the ring. He could only watch helplessly as his horse went haywire.
Once I got in the middle of the ring and saw all the other people in jeopardy, I really got frightened for them.
It was a big scare for Paul's biggest fan.
When I was finally reunited with Paul, absolute relief just to be next to him and hold him and see that he was okay.
Both Paul and Terry still drive buggies. For them, the pleasure of working with these magnificent animals is so great, wild horses couldn't drag them away.
I am now 83 next week, and I'm still going to show at the U.S. National this year. I'm still going strong, and I think my competition wish I would retire.